Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Dr. Heather Denniston with Well Fit and Fed, and this is the Junk You Should Know show. I am coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta. Oh my gosh, how fun. You can see my sister's, was for her 50th birthday. It was actually quite a while ago that we had that. And it is, we put all these pictures together, obviously. Well, she and her friend did it, and it was fantastic. I hope it's not too much of a distraction here. Well, let's go this way. There we go. That's better. I am in Calgary. I'm here because my mother passed last year, and my sisters and I wanted to spend the anniversary together. So we met here on Thursday, and we've been having an awesome time. Last night we went to the Lisa Fischer concert. Some of you, most of you probably don't know who she is, but if you have seen a documentary called 20 Feet from Stardom, she has a big role in it. Hi, whoever just checked in. She has a big role in it, and she is one of the most phenomenal songstresses, hey, Linda, I've ever seen. She was absolutely incredible. If you ever get the chance to see Lisa Fischer or see the 20 Feet from Stardom documentary, it's all about backup singers and their story and kind of the evolution of them. And it's so, so good. You should absolutely check it out. So we had a nice time last night. I've kicked them out of the house so I could do my show with you today. My sister has this awesome beagle who has the most piercing bark on the planet. And he likes to bark at birds and cats out the window. So I was a little concerned we might be interrupted. So they've gone out for a walk and I am here with you. So when you check in, please let me know in the comments section below where you're coming to me from. I would love to know that. We've had last few shows, we've had some great people watching from all over the place. So please do put your comments down there. What else was I going to tell you at first? Oh, we have mini junk. If you watched last week, I told you I'm going to start doing mini junk at the opening of the Junk You Should Know show. One, to kill some time until everybody signs on, but also because if you just want to watch for a couple seconds, I want you to leave with something valuable. And so my sisters and I were sitting around breakfast today, and one of my sisters is very, very healthy. And I said, what mini junk should we share? Yay, Palm Desert. What mini junk should we share with the group today? And she and I talked about something we've been doing for a really, really long time, and it has facilitated better ease in the habit of taking supplements. And many of you know if you take more than one supplement, then you're undoing lids and doing back on lids and every morning, and if you have to take it twice a day, and it's a little bit of an interrupter. The vitamins are up in the cupboard and you forget about them, and you line them all up and take all your supplements. It can be a bit of a hassle, and particularly if you travel too. So one of the things that she and I do is about once a month, get all your supplements out, pull them all out into daily doses, and stick them in what is the original use is a little bead bag from Michael's, but we use them for our supplements. And so you can go to Michael's or to any bead store and grab some of those little mini bags, and you can separate, you can make your own little, those little, you can buy them in those little pulse packs or whatever they call them. What do they call those? You can make your own. And remember, Jenny said, remind them to recycle and reuse. So you can reuse these. And so you just keep them, you use them when you travel. Or what I love is when I get up in the morning, I don't have to undo 7 jars and separate them all out. And I have a couple supplements I like to take twice a day. So this works out really, really well. So that's our little mini junk for today. And we are going to be talking about breathwork today. And many of you have maybe taken a yoga class or a hi Karen or a hi Jen, like a Tai Chi class or something that has breathwork involved with it. But lots of us still aren't really familiar with the practice of breathwork and why we would want to do that. But before I do that, I'm going to give us a little note from our sponsor. The sponsor, of course, is the Change Cave. And the Change Cave it brings inspired people together who are ready to bring action behind their health and wellness goals. And through powerful resources and a passionate community, accountability and results are just a foregone conclusion. And we are in month 2 of the Change Cave. We are having a great time. There are a couple of people watching right now who are involved, and it has been an absolute blast for me. The content has been well received, and we're having a great time. So if you are wanting to take your wellness to that next level, something deeper, something more long-standing, something that's coming, from a very foundational place, come and join us. It's only $23.99 a month. It's cancelable at any time. I do hope you'll come and check it out. I'll put a link in the comments to that. And if you're not interested and you know somebody who might be, do share the link with those folks, okay? All right, we're going to get started. And as I said, we're talking about breath work today. And somebody joked with me and said, well, how hard can that be? I mean, we're sort of innately wired to breathe, right? You look at an infant, and an infant naturally expands and contracts with their whole body, typically breathing through their nose like we're supposed to. It's beautiful to watch. But then when you turn around and you watch an adult who's stressed or who's busy, it's shallow, it's raspy, it tends to be mouth breathing, none of which we were supposed to innately do, right? Our breaths are supposed to be deep all the way down to the abdomen. We're supposed to use our nose more to breathe than our mouth. And we've gotten away from that. And a lot of the problem is that stress causes shallow breathing, and shallow breathing causes stress. So it's a nasty cycle that we need to interrupt. And so that's what we're going to be talking today. The thing about shallow breathing, guys, is that it can lower lymphocytes. It can affect your immune system. It can make the body more susceptible to illnesses. It can aggravate certain medical conditions. It can amplify respiratory problems. It can prolong healing times. There are so many things that shallow breathing or not breathing to the depth that your body naturally is intended to can affect that, right? And the thing about deep breathing benefits is that it's whole body. When we have a breath practice, when we work on segments of time that we sort of dedicate toward focusing on our breathing, it permeates the rest of our life, because then just from a subconscious level, we're more aware of it. And oxygenating the tissues isn't just about oxygenating the tissues. It has all sorts of benefits for mindfulness of our surroundings, causes a decrease in anxiety. It improves depression and outlook. And one thing I learned when I was in chiropractic school, and this was interesting to me, is when you look at the anatomy of the lungs, we all know that network of bronchioles that when we breathe in, it starts going into smaller and smaller and smaller vessels to get to the tissues. Well, at the very end of those are these little tiny, what remind me of like little balls called alveoli, and a couple different ways you can pronounce that. But by the way, are any of you noticing my cold right now? I had no voice yesterday, and today I've got a little Demi Moore going. So hopefully you guys aren't like, who's that? Anyways, those little alveoli are meant to expand and contract. And when they expand, they get lubricated so that the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange is much more effective. And the problem is, if we are not doing deep breathing lots during our day, those alveoli become dehydrated and don't operate optimally. And so it's super, super important. Thank you, Chris. It's super important for us to be making sure we are expanding our lungs to the depth that we possibly can, so that those alveoli stretch and get lubricated, and that CO2-O2 exchange becomes most effective. So that's another whole reason for deep breathing. There's a whole other thing too. There are athletes who use breath work as a sports advantage. There's a doctor called Dr. Alison McConnell she has staked her whole life on this work. She has even created an app called Breathe Strong that athletes use, but you can use it too. I think it's free. When I checked last, it was free. At least the base level was free. And it takes you through different breathwork exercises. And also, you guys, I have mentioned Headspace to you before, and Headspace is a meditation app, but it has a lot of breathwork interface as well. And so you can check that out too. So that's breathwork, and then Breathe Strong. That's Dr. Alison McConnell's work. She has completely, all she talk about a niche. All she does is breathwork with athletes, competitive elite athletes, and getting them to utilize that concept of breath work and training to positively affect their outcome and their results in their particular sport. So I really like that. Okay, who wants to dive right in? We have 5 breathing exercises to go through, and I'm only going through them if you guys do them with me. Who's in? I want a yes. I'm in, because I'm not doing this by myself, because a couple of them are kind of embarrassing. I'll be honest. The last one we do, you got to be pretty comfortable in your skin to do this, at least if you're going to be doing it where somebody's seeing you. And that's kind of this situation. So the first breath work that we're going to do is called a 4. Yay, Chris. Thank you. Thank you for partnering with me in this experiment. So we are going to start with 4-7-8 breathing. And 4-7-8 breathing is the 101 of breath work. Okay. It's probably one of the first ones most people learn when they are starting a breath work practice. And it's simple. It's an inhale for 4. Then you hold for 7. And then you exhale for 8. Now, if you can do it once through nose, and oh good, I'm so glad you're loving Headspace, Linda. If you can go in through nose and out through nose, great. If you want to alternate between in through nose, then in through mouth, out through mouth, you can do either. A little bit of a variety is okay, but the 4-7-8 breath is in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Okay, guess what this is super, super good for? Anyone? 4-7-8 breathing, one of the most effective things it's good for is trying to fall asleep. So if you are having trouble falling asleep, this particular breathwork exercise is excellent. So add that to your sleep-inducing repertoire. Okay, alternate nostril breathing. This one, first thing I want you to envision is a horseshoe. Okay, so a horseshoe is shaped like this. And this is the shape we're going to do with our breathing. And how we do it is we occlude one nostril, close it off. You breathe all the way in through the open nostril. You hold at the top, then you switch, and you exhale through your nose on the out breath through the opposite nostril. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is you're going to come in through that same nostril, and at the top, you're going to hold and switch, and then out through that open nostril. So it becomes like a horseshoe. You go in through one side, out through the other side. In through that side you just breathed out, and out through the opposite side. So let's just do one cycle of it together. So occlude whatever nostril is comfortable for you, and breathe all the way in. And all the way out. Now we stay on that, breathe in. You guys are so lucky that my sinus cleared up this morning, because that would not have been pretty otherwise. Guess what alternate nostril breathing is awesome for? Did we just talk about those alveoli, right? Well, when you go in through one nostril, you are expanding that one side of the lung tissue to its utmost possibility, and that alveoli gets to expand and contract and get flooded with great surfactant and fluid, and so that nice oxygen carbon dioxide exchange can happen. Okay, we're moving on. This one I just learned about, but I really like it because this particular one you can actually build on. Okay, this is called, it's Sami Vritti, not Sam. It's Sami with an I at the end. And it's more like lay name is called equal breathing. And what we do with Sami Vritti breath work is that you're in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. In for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Okay, so let's do that. And then I'm going to tell you how you progress it. Okay, so we'll go in for 4. And then in again. Now here's how you progress it. You add a second. So once you've practiced that just for a little bit, Then you go to 5, 5, 5, 5. Then you go to 6, 6, 6, 6. And you see how many seconds you could maybe make your Samvriti breathing. Does that make sense? Okay, very good. Moving on. Last two, guys. Abdominal breathing. I want you to put your hand on your belly and your hand on your chest. And I want you to just breathe normally, okay? Just breathe like you've been breathing. Okay, and now what I want you to do is I want you to picture your belly and your pelvic floor like an empty water vessel, some kind of big vase or water pitcher, and it's empty, and you need to fill it, and you're filling it with air, okay? You want to breathe all the way into the base of your pelvis. You want to expand out your stomach, fill it up with air, and then fill all the way up to the chest. And we're going to talk about why we do that. So when I say go, we're going to fill all the way from our pelvic floor all the way to the top. Okay, try and go in through your nose. And here we go. Ready? And go. Do you feel how your stomach moves a little differently than when you just breathe normally? Here's the thing. Over time, we have stopped being abdominal breathers. We've all become these shallow chest breathers, just chest moving in and out rapidly, not full deep breaths. When you take a full deep breath and you fill up that tummy, it helps massage your inner organs, it helps digestion, it helps so many things, and oxygenating the tissues, of course. But the thing is that a lot of us walk around tight in our tummies from stress, or we're trying to suck in our tummies, okay? And that affects our ability to take in really good full breaths. So push that belly out, fill it up with air, and practice like 10 cycles of that abdominal breathing. Perfect. Now, here's the one where I'm going to look like an idiot. So somebody better do this with me. Chris, this is lion's breath. And this is such a great one. And I taught it to my sisters this morning, and my sister's like, what the heck is that for? And when I told her it was for anger, for releasing stress, for releasing anger, for empowering yourself, for gaining confidence, she's like, yeah. And she did a lion breath like I've never heard. It was awesome. She like fully committed. It was great. So we're going to do that today. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a big breath in, and then on the breath out, you're going to stick your tongue out like that, and you're going to roar, okay? You're going to, with your exhalation, you're going to roar it right out of your body. So here we go. Ready? Breathe in. Isn't that fun? Let's do it again. Ready? Breathe in. So that is lion's breath, and it can energize you and it can empower you. I already feel like, yeah. And it can release stress, release anger. So if you're feeling that, you can practice that lion breath. Okay, so let's just recap. I'm going to just go through them again so you can see. We had 4, 7, 8. In for 4, hold for 7, release for 8. I bet your son is staring at you funny, Chris. She's got 2 kids at home, and I bet we'll teach them how to do it. It's an awesome thing to teach kids. Alternate nostril breathing is in through the one side, out through the opposite side, in through that side, and out through the opposite side. You're occluding opposite nostrils with each breath. Samvriti, equal breathing. That's the one that I just learned. In for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, and start to build on that. And abdominal breathing, right? Use our bellies to breathe, okay? We want to do some belly breathing at least a little bit of the day, because a lot of the day we're shallow breathing, and that's not good. And then, of course, lion breath, and that's it's so fun once you do it. So that is breath work. Now, I do also want to just kind of revisit for a second. Many of you know that I just did the Keto 101 Summit, and I am not keto. I am mostly paleo, kind of a 90-10 paleo, but the information there was so fantastic. If you did not register for it, it is no longer free, but there is the ability to still get into it. So I am going to put that keto link below, because it was 3 days of speakers. I think there were 22 or 23 speakers. They were all fantastic. And I spoke at it as well. And my talk was on stuff lots of you guys have already heard from me. So spend your time listening to the other speakers. And there were lots of like free downloads and all sorts of stuff. So I'll put that link below for you guys. And hopefully you will find that useful. Okay, I think we've covered it. So we talked about the 5 types of breath work we were going to cover today. We talked about the change cave. Remember to just click that link below, even if you have the slightest flicker of interest. The link is only going to take you to a page just to explain more, okay? And then we talked about the mini junk, right? Talked about separate out your supplements into little mini bags that you can get at a bead store or Michael's, and you do just 30 at a time. That way you are not wasting any time in the morning trying to undo and do up lids off different vitamin bottles and that whole thing. And it gets it in your head that you're going to be taking it, right? We all know that habits are much more implementable and sustainable if we do it with ease, if we create ease in our habits. And so that's part of creating ease in a habit of taking supplements. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Listen, guys, share this on your pages. Please do. Please get the message out that the Junk You Should Know show is consistent. It's every Friday at noon. It's live 90% of the time. Last couple shows ago, I had to do a recorded show because I was in Paris at the time. I'm sure none of you wanted to be up at 3 a.m. Watching my show. And so occasionally there is a pre-record, but most of the time we're live, and we're going to start off with some guests again. I've got Chef Cree coming to teach us some things in the kitchen. I've got an awesome trainer coming to tell her life story. And there's going to be some really good things. I do want some little mini junks from you guys, little health hacks, fitness hacks, stress hacks, things that you do, that you implement in your life that make things easier. People want to hear about it. So please share those with me either privately or in the comments below. All right. I love you guys. I will chat with you soon. Reach out if you have any questions. Leave comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next Friday.